Want to know the real reason why most online businesses fail? Here's a hint. It's not your pricing, it's not your sales funnel, it's not even your offer ladder. Right now, I see a lot of agencies and service providers, online entrepreneurs that are out here copying what they see from other successful online business owners, thinking that that's the answer. And I get it. They're successful, so if I just copy exactly what they do, I'm gonna be successful too. But that's not exactly how it works. And underneath it all, they're actually missing something far more important. And so in this video, I wanna break down what actually matters for you to have a successful online business today. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Greg Hickman. I'm the founder of Alt Agency. And over the last few years, we've trained and consulted over 800 agency owners and service providers really on how to productize their service, monetize their expertise so that they can take home more profit while working a 4-day work week or less. Now, I just got back from one of our mastermind retreats. We hold quarterly retreats in person, and we just had a select group of our Trailblazer members in Breckenridge, Colorado. And during one of the hot seats, a couple members got kind of obsessed over how they were structuring their kind of offer suite, if you will. And the problem here is that they were kind of asking the wrong questions or they were focusing on the wrong things. So here's what I mean by that. Oftentimes in the online business space, you see people come in and they're like, oh my God, like I love how they have kind of a low ticket thing, $7. And then they're gonna go into, this mid ticket thing, maybe it's $200, and then eventually sell this high ticket thing that's maybe 10K or more. Or this low ticket into, a $500 a month recurring membership. And then I'm going to take a few select people from that membership and upgrade them into that, 10K annual offer. Or something that's really common is, I have a front end program that is somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. Maybe it's like 90-ish days or something like that. And then we're going to ascend or upgrade a small percentage of those people into our back end offer. And let's say that's $1,500 a month. And I'm guilty of this, which is why I'm sharing it, is all of these can work. All of these do work. But when we were having this conversation, the trap that many people get caught in is that they actually look at one of these three options, and again, there's many more, and they have the conversation around, they try to fit their business into the money model, the different offer structures. Oh, I need this $20 thing here, this $500 a month thing here, and then I'm gonna have this $10,000 or $20,000 thing here on the back end. And it's super easy to think about what your business is gonna look like in these containers and even model what other people are doing. But the reality is, we've all heard of the iceberg principle, is we look at these other successful businesses and what we see above the surface, what we see up here is we see kind of the offer, right? We see the problem that it's solving or the promise that they're making. We see the funnel. We see the price and what they're charging. We see how many weeks they're offering it. We see that they're using school or whatever. But the reality is the thing that makes their funnel work for them or their offer structure work for them is what's actually beneath the surface. It's the stuff that you can't see. It's the decades of experience that they have. It's the years solving a specific problem for their ideal client. It's the reps that they have in moving people from whichever container they have chosen into the next. And all of that fits for the business problem that they are trying to solve for their clients. And I see a lot of folks, and again, I've been guilty of this too, try to take our expertise and kind of just fit it into one of these boxes or a combination of these boxes, thinking that if we just build them in this order and we have each of these things, that our business is going to be successful. But like I said, I want to share what I've found to be the truth and what actually matters and what you need to focus on first. And so underneath the surface, right, we look here at this iceberg principle. I want to talk about the three things really, what make your business work, what make that successful business that you're copying work, and anyone else that you see that it looks like they're succeeding online. And so we all kind of quickly lean to let me see what their offer is, right? And what we want to actually look at and what makes up an offer. Now, to me, an offer really consists of three things at its core. There's a few things that kind of make it fancy and make people want to buy it. But for the sake of, should you have a 90-day program into a 12-month program or just a 6-month membership or a $20 book into a $500 a month membership, all of those things really need to start with the offer, which at its core is focused on three things. First is, who is the person, specifically, who is this person that we are trying to help? And I believe that our perfect person, your perfect person, is at the center of what I call the modern market fit. The modern market fit is looking at both who you serve and what problem you're actually solving for that person. And it's this overlap is where the real magic happens. It's not just, oh, I work with people in this specific industry, like chiropractors or whatever. It's I work with chiropractors or appointment-based businesses that need to fill their calendar with, qualified appointments. And so it's this convergence of the who and the what. Now, obviously, in an ideal world, both of these circles are super specific and really tight, right? Like we're solving a very specific problem for a very specific person. But, in today's market, what I'm finding is that instead of just niching down and narrowing down, specializing down on the who, it's your what and how you do your what is the thing that needs to kind of become more specific. So the problem that you're solving for that type of person, I believe carries more weight in today's market than before. So like I said, whether you have a $500 membership into a 20K a year program is not the point. It's first, I got to get clear on who I'm serving. Then it's like I was kind of alluding to, is what's the problem that you are solving for that person? And lastly, it is what is your process for getting them to that outcome? So when we think about the person, right, that's the who, the problem is the what, and the process is your how. Now, depending upon these three things, you could have a 90-day program that takes a specific person solving a very specific problem through your process, right? Now, you might find that down the road, if let's say that was your $3,000 to $5,000 offer right here, that the people that aren't converting have a problem before the problem that this front-end offer is solving, right? And so that's where something like a low ticket product might actually come in. It's after going through the reps of working with your who, solving their problem, following your process. Because depending upon how big the problem is and how long your process is, that problem might be too big of a problem that can't be solved in that short of a time frame, like 3 months or 30 days. And so for each and every one of us, we need to actually dig really deep into the person, the problem, and the process, and ideally get the problem to be a relatively small problem to solve first. One of my friends says small promises are easier to keep. Well, right now on the internet, you see, people making outrageous claims like we're going to get you to 100K a month in 30 days, even if you have no experience, right? That's a fairly challenging result to get in 30 days, especially if you have no expertise. That was just an example of how outrageous some of the offers are these days. But my point being is, especially if you're in the early stages of your business, or if you're having difficulty closing people into your offers and programs, it might be worth looking at your who and shrinking down the problem to a problem that isn't as big. It sort of reminds me of agencies that sell SEO. And I know SEO is kind of collapsing and falling apart depending upon how you look at it with AI and content. But oftentimes in the agencies that we worked with that tried to sell SEO, it's like we have to do all this work and you don't really see results for like a year. And waiting a year to see some sort of result kind of stinks. And so when we focus on smaller promises, we can actually get results faster, getting people bought in on our methodology, our process, and wanting to work with us longer. And so sometimes figuring out the right containers, like we talked about up here, is it a book? Is it a $500 a month membership? Is it a high ticket problem? You really need to look at each one of these things. Let me clean this up here for a second, and let's zoom in on kind of this like middle common path. This was actually one of the examples that came up at our retreat, is having something low ticket into a recurring membership that is kind of like an all access pass into kind of a higher premium ticket offer that has a lot more one-on-one. And so let's just zoom in on that one, for example. You'd be much better served if we looked at your who, your what, and your how that was going to happen inside this container. So whether it's a $500 a month membership for 6 months or for 12 months or in perpetuity, you need to ask, well, who is the person that is coming into this thing and what is the problem that's being solved? Does it require a 6-month engagement? Does it require a 12-month engagement? Is the promise big enough? is the work that they have to do, or the work that we have to do for them, with them, the how, is our process gonna take how long, right? That's gonna dictate how big of a container we need and start to inform what the price point is going to be in order to move someone through our process. And then again, if we determine the who, the what, and the how for this one particular container inside of our offer structure, then we need to look at, well, where are they before this point, which would inform the what problem we need to solve and the how that might be happening earlier in that person's journey. And on the flip side, well, once they've solved this problem and they've followed our process to achieve it, what's the next problem that they have? Because that's going to inform what the next container and or offer in our offer stack might be. If you've made the mistake like I have in the past, and some of our members were about to go down the path of just seeing how sexy or appealing any one of these containers could be, and just executing without focusing on the person, the problem, and your process to solve it, you could be solving a big problem in too small of a container. You could be solving a problem that the wrong person has. You could be trying to solve a problem with the wrong process, or not giving yourself enough time to execute on the process to actually solve the problem. And this is where, when done incorrectly or too quickly, and or just copying someone else, taking your ideas and trying to structure them into a 90-day program just because somebody else did 90 days, is really what leads to the frustration, the lack of client results that you might be experiencing, or the frustrations you're having and why it might not be working for you. So I really wanted to share this coming out of the retreat, because one of our members is actually like, this would be a fun topic to share on your YouTube. So hopefully you got value from this, and I've saved you some time, and now you focus on what really matters, which is your person, your problem, and your process. And so I think hopefully you can see now that what makes a business model work isn't necessarily the containers and the order and sequence in which clients and prospects go through said container. It's having an offer that deeply resonates with the right people, that you can get results following your process. Now, seeing as how everything comes down to this offer, I think you should go check out this video, because I break down 7 lessons that I learned after reviewing 1,000 plus agency offers.